Swimming. One of the most physically demanding sports there is. It is also demanding for an athlete mentally as well. Having to jump into a cold pool at 6 a.m., then having to stare at the bottom of the pool for 2 hours makes for a mentally strong athlete. This is the information that other athletes or spectators don't know about the sport of swimming. These are some of the reasons swimming is underrated, but the list could go on and on.
It's not one of the main revenue generating sports for the NCAA or for at any professional level.
I guess it's not really like a glory sport, so to speak. I mean, people don't go to swim meets, it's not popular, it's not televised.
Not enough people are exposed to it. It doesn't have the same coverage or the glamour as your top-tiered basketball, football, baseball sports.
So it doesn't get as much airtime. You see it on the Olympics once every 4 years, and then everyone kind of forgets about it. And you only know the household names like Michael Phelps, Ryan Lochte, Missy Franklin coming up. But it doesn't get as much recognition as it should.
At the same time, it's a whole nother version of athleticism. You're not out in the field running and you're not making goals and scoring points, but it's just being able to come back every day and do the same thing over and over, but not lose sight of why you're doing it. It's just completely different than any other sport I've participated in.
And I think from participant viewpoint, participant in the sport, they find out how difficult it really is and whether or not they have what it takes to do it.
And people don't realize the amount of hard work it takes to get up to that level. You think that, people, I can swim. You can swim in your backyard pool, but, when it comes to swimming upwards of 10,000 yards a day, plus weightlifting and things like that, people just don't realize that you're up at 6 o'clock every morning. And those athletes, they're just above and beyond anything that we've seen, really. So they just keep getting better, faster, stronger, and it's really amazing what people can do.
People have a strange way of thinking they know about a sport they've never played. Every sport has certain misconceptions that people think are correct. When it comes down to swimming, most people are wrong.
That it's easy, that they don't understand how swimming back and forth all the time could be some sort of rigorous exercise.
A lot of people think it's not a team sport, which is very, very wrong.
Things that swimmers get a lot are, people will come up to you and say, oh, let's race, or things like that. And they just don't realize that a swimmer's version of swimming is a lot different than a non-swimmer's version of swimming.
One of the big ones you see all the time is yards versus meters. And we always get a good laugh out of it.
We may not be what they would call sweating, which we do sweat, but people just don't physically see the bruises or anything of that sort. We still work just as hard as any other sport.
And it's been said a lot that swimming's not really a sport, it's more of a lifestyle. A lot of people came up with it since they were, 6, 7 years old. They've been swimming since then and all the way through college, so they end at, 21, 22 years old. So for a majority of their life, they've been swimming, been at the pool.
People just don't quite understand how hard it is to get in the water and swim like that every day.
Swimming all comes down to how tough you are mentally. A saying that floats around the swim scene states that swimming is 90% mental. Someone that does this needs to commit to the mental aspect of the sport. It's not something you can just jump into.
As I tell athletes all the time, your brain gives up before your body. And if you can train your brain to be tough, that 90% mental will carry you much further than the other part.
In swimming, I believe that if you are mentally strong, the physical part just comes with it. But obviously there's a lot of things that go into being physically strong and fit.
You have to have the right combination of both to be successful. Without your mental aspect, you're never really going to get to where you should be physically. You're never going to reach your potential. So I think it's very important to have a combination of both.
How much pressure do they have? I think they put a lot on themselves.
I feel like there's a lot of people that can put pressures on certain swimmers.
As much as other athletes, as far as like hockey or soccer or football or things like that, I don't think there's as much pressure from like the university and spectators that those teams have, where like if you don't do good in a play, you get taken out. I think a lot of it comes from just yourself. I mean, there's a lot of pressure to live up to what you do the same thing every day, you show up to practice every day, and there's just a lot of pressure to rise to the expectations that you have for yourself. Not so much, Niagara needs you to like, you're not scoring goals, you're not doing this, you're not like setting records necessarily. It's just, are you doing what you think that you can, what your potential is?
Swimming is in fact a team sport. Even though on the surface it might seem like an individual sport, there is a solid group of people allowing for you to perform at your best. And when you have a team behind you, it allows for motivation to come through them and from within yourself.
Motivation can be hard. Especially when you're in the long grind of, a December, a January in the middle of a season.
I think if they're enjoying what they're doing, then they're going to be more motivated to come every day and do it.
I'm not taking away anything from the other sports. I can't do a lot of other sports on the land just because I don't have the coordination or know really how to do anything else besides swim. But at the same time, like, they have to have an appreciation for what we do. Not everybody can just get in the water and stay motivated and just swim back and forth for 2 hours and stare at the bottom of the pool. So it's definitely something another athlete won't see unless they really get involved and they try it for themselves.
Music helps, but motivation definitely comes with just believing in myself and believing in the fact that I can do it, and saying little things and finding little lyrics or those little sayings, or just talking to someone that will get me ready for my race definitely motivates me to just succeed.
It's important to be intrinsically motivated, but at the same time, motivation from coaches and teammates is really important too. If you don't have a solid team core that you like being around all day, all the time, even when you're not in practice, after practice, it's really hard to get into it and keep showing up every day and giving it everything you have if you're not really passionate and you don't have the people surrounding you to make you do better.
At the high school and at the college level, it's very team oriented. Especially when you look at the dual meet season, when it's your team against another team in the pool. And you're scoring points for the team.
It can be team-oriented. It's a very individual sport, I would say, whereas you have to have your own goals. You have to, a lot of times, self-motivation that gets you at practice and things like that.
And then as you grow into a high school or a college swimmer, the team aspect kind of is still there, but it diminishes on the fact that you're focusing on what you have to do on your own time.
It's extremely team-oriented as far as motivation goes, but as far as like in competition, you just really don't see it. And I think that's what people don't really appreciate about swimming.
While we say it's a team and you have your team behind you, when it comes down to it, it's you in that lane swimming. And it's you controlling your destiny. Nobody else can help you out. You don't have someone who's passing a ball to you. You don't have someone who's, open for a shot that you're going to pass it off to. It's you in your lane doing your thing.
Learning is a part of life, whether it is in school or a sport you do. For younger swimmers wishing to continue with the sport, learn from people who have been through it all.
Definitely continue to find swimming enjoyable and fun, because as soon as you don't find it fun and enjoyable anymore, it's going to get harder and harder to get better and to keep going to practice.
I know it sounds a little corny, but you can, if you put your mind to it, you can get there. As far as hard work and dedication, it does. You do have to have some natural, talent for it if you're gonna go very far. But if you dedicate yourself and put in the time and put in the effort, you can get to where you want to go.
For younger swimmers, just keep going. It's a great sport. It's only gonna get harder, but at the same time, it's going to become easier for you mentally because you know the longer you stay with it, the more you know, like, this is why I'm here, this is why I do this every day.
As far as younger swimmers, enjoy it. Enjoy the time that you have. Not everybody gets to do it. Like I said, it takes a special person to be a swimmer, and embrace being that special person. Have fun with it.
Swimming is a challenging sport to be a part of. Yes, other sports are challenging, but this showed that swimming is just as hard as other sports, and hopefully you've gained an appreciation for the sport.